The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. One of the 12, who was called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and said, "What will you give me if I betray Jesus to you?" They paid him 30 pieces of silver. And from that moment, he began to look for an opportunity to betray him. On the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus saying, "Where do you want us to make the preparations for you to eat the Passover?" He said, "Go into the city to a certain man and say to him, 'The teacher says, my time is near. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples.'" So the disciples did as Jesus had directed them, and they prepared the Passover meal. When it was evening, Jesus took his place with the 12, and while they were eating, he said, "Truly, I tell you, one of you will betray me." And they became greatly distressed and began to say to him one after another, "Surely not I, Lord." He answered, "The one who has dipped his hand into the bowl with me will betray me. The Son of Man goes as it is written of him, but woe to that one by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that one not to have been born." Judas, who betrayed him, said, "Surely not I, Rabbi." Jesus replied, "You have said so." The Gospel of the Lord.
Today is our last Mass before we enter into the Triduum, a wonderful celebration that we wait for all year long and for which we've been preparing for these 40 days. And we want to give thanks to the Lord for all the graces that He's bestowed upon each of us individually, but also entire community, our parish here that is met so frequently, and the entire church itself as it prepares to celebrate the Passover with Him, as the disciples talk about Jesus today from the Gospel reading. So just add a prayer of thanksgiving for all the graces each one of us has received, and also reflect in many ways very beautifully the Lord allows us to see what He experiences or experienced and continues to experience in the uneasiness of everything that will take place in the days coming ahead. So His uncertainty about how it will happen, His understanding that it's ending up in His full sacrifice to the Father, and these remarkable readings we have from Isaiah, which prophesy of how the servant will suffer, would have been known to Jesus very, very profoundly. First of all, because He inspired them to the prophet, but then in His earthly life would have learned them from His mother and from His father, and would have had them in His heart, reflecting on the mysteries of how God has spoken to His holy people. And Jesus knows it's speaking about Himself. And this gives us the opportunity to enter in really to His reflections and His heart in these last days, in these last hours before His Passover, before His suffering and resurrection take place, and for us to be able to read in many ways what takes place in His heart these days in the preparation before this great feast day. So let us hold each one of us all together, our prayers. There will be many people known to us and unknown to us who are unable to come to the Masses, but we begin that tomorrow privately, first with the Chrism Mass. Unfortunately, have to be private this year, and then with a Mass tomorrow night for the institution of the body and the blood